What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to a brand new episode of Caffeinate today for January the 22nd of 2019. My name is Samuel Adams, and welcome to today's show. I hope this one finds you well, and for those that are brand new to the show, this is a daily gaming news podcast where I bring you the hottest gaming news from around the industry, and I package it up in one tight, neat little package for you to enjoy on your way home, at the gym, wherever you might take in your podcast or your YouTube videos. You can find it there. Now, with that being said, yesterday I made an announcement that the show would be coming back to YouTube in its native format via a live stream. That is no longer going to be taking effect because, quite frankly, the system for uploading a live stream to YouTube or streaming to YouTube is so broken when you try to save that same level of quality content after the stream ends that we're just going to do it live on Twitch, and then I'll bring it over to YouTube in the same way that I have been for the past couple of months. I've pretty much streamlined that process anyway, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But hey, you never know if you don't try. With that being said, if you are brand new to the show, I hope you do enjoy what you find. And the show, is hosted 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/TheSamuelAdams. With all that being said, what are we going to be talking about today? Twitter is a hotbed for discussion of everything when it comes to, in general, just discussion about life, gaming, and specifically gaming, because video games took Twitter by storm in 2018, according to Variety, amassing 1 billion tweets. On top of that, we finally have the reviews for Resident Evil 2, which is getting a re-release on the PS4 in a way that few games get the opportunity to be re-released, which is in the full, from the ground up rebuild of the original classic. So we'll talk about those reviews, and we will talk about some post-launch modes and costumes coming to the game. Nintendo has announced a brand new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament bracket for North America and Europe, and don't fear, fans of Splatoon 2 also get a bracket of their own, if you were looking forward to that. Indie-focused Nintendo Switch broadcast is going to be due tomorrow. Tune in at 2 p.m. UK time to find out what the indies are going to be doing on the Nintendo Switch over the next few months. If you are a fan of Halo the Master Chief Collection, good news! 343 is teasing some news that should be coming at South by Southwest in just a couple of weeks. Mortal Kombat 11 seems unlikely to have crossplay at launch, but NetherRealm is looking at the possibilities, so don't hold your breath, but also don't let those hopes go out the window, like mine did when I got to college. With that being said, Realm Royale is going into open beta on PS4 and the Xbox One tomorrow, and Bethesda has flat out denied that Fallout 76 is going free to play. So needless to say, giant show for you guys today. Tons of awesome content and tons of stories to discuss, and I do hope that we get to enjoy it together. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it, shall we? First off, coming to us from Variety, video games took Twitter by storm in 2018, amassing 1 billion tweets. Video games were a hot topic on Twitter in 2018, with over 1 billion tweets made about Medium globally that year alone. Rishi Chadha, I believe that's how you say that name, Twitter's head of gaming content partnerships, took to the official Twitter blog with a series of insights on the video game industry and its massive influence on the social media platform. And of course, it does have a massive audience over there. A huge amount of users, as it turns out, were engaged with the topic on a global scale as fans took to Twitter to discuss new game releases, chat about their favorite esports teams, and post gaming moments they couldn't wait to share with friends. Out of the top 10 global regions that tweeted the most in 2018, Japan took the top spot, with the United States and the United Kingdom rounding up the top 3 positions. France and Korea followed suit for the top 5 regions that contributed to the massive amount of gaming tweets. In terms of the games fans got chatty about, the number 1 most tweeted about game in 2018 may surprise you. Fate/Grand Order took the number 1 spot, followed by Fortnite and Monster Strike. Strange that Fortnite wasn't number 1, but hey, again, this is a global scale, so a lot of games are of a higher interest in other parts of the world. Technically, all 3 are mobile titles, though Fortnite tweets could also include the game on other platforms. Games like Splatoon and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds rounded out the top 5, with names like Super Smash Bros. And Overwatch appearing further down the list. In terms of favorite esports franchises and players, FaZe Clan dominated the charts, followed by Optic Gaming and Cloud9, with players like Seth Abner, Felix Lingel, and Juan de Biedma nailed it, taking over the conversation. There was a veritable smorgasbord of gaming events in 2018 as well, and Twitter users love to chat about each individual one. E3 2018 was the hottest topic of them all, netting nearly 15 million tweets on its own, though Tokyo Game Show 2018 and the Game Awards 2018 closely followed suit. The Game Awards and Twitter teamed up to present the first ever #Twitter Gaming Award in tandem with the show's annual debut, which helped pick out the moments in gaming on Twitter that generated the best conversation. Twitter, as we all know, is always abuzz with tweets celebrating and discussing video games in several different capacities, and you can always find the official report over on the official Twitter blog. But when it comes to this, I wanted to point this out because, as we all know, and as I said at the beginning of the show, Twitter is literally the source of so much public discourse in the best way, because you can literally put out a thought and people begin to respond to it. And in the context of gaming, that's an incredibly cool tool, because you're able to have conversations with people around the world centered on games that might be popular, some that might not, and just gaming in general. As somebody who uploads YouTube content and streams on Twitch and does a whole bunch of content creation style stuff, I will say that Twitter is incredibly useful for not only gauging public interest, but also staying in touch with people when it comes to what is happening in the gaming culture. And on top of that, also having genuine conversation. So with that being said, over 1 billion tweets on Twitter having to do with gaming in 2018. Absolutely massive figure. One that isn't shocking, but one that is still cool to see. Now, I will say, who knows what 2019 has in store. I would love to see the number of gaming tweets as compared to the number of political tweets, but that's a topic for another day. With that being said, I am sure that a lot of people were tweeting about Resident Evil 2, which is a game that made its debut at E3 of 2018, and lo and behold, just a few months later, we see the release of it now in January of 2019, and the reviews are officially in because the game does officially launch later on in the week. And so, what are they looking like? The Resident Evil 2 review roundup. Raccoon City is in a bad way again, but it's in the best bad way you could possibly imagine. Now, I would go on to read about the background of everything, but essentially you are Leon Kennedy or Claire Redfield, and you are attempting to survive the infestation of Raccoon City by these people that are now essentially zombies because of a giant bioterrorism issue that's going on. With that being said, what are people saying about the game? GameSpot 9 out of 10, CNET has no score, The Guardian with a 5 out of 5, Game Informer a 9.5 out of 10, EGM 9.5, US Gamer 4.5 out of 5, Destructoid 9 out of 10, and Games Radar 4 out of 5 are the ones mentioned on this GameSpot article. With that being said, the discussion on Twitter generated around Resident Evil 2 has been nothing but positive. The game, quite frankly, looks to be the first Game of the Year contender that we are seeing so far, and that's something that is incredibly impressive, especially considering that we are just now getting into January. Like, it is just the beginning of what 2019 has to offer. When you're looking back to 2018, the first real contender for Game of the Year that came out in my mind would either be something like Monster Hunter World or even God of War, but that wasn't until probably later in February and March that those began to roll out. So we're really starting off the year on a good foot, and as somebody who did get the chance to play the one-shot demo of Resident Evil 2, I can confidently say it is a fantastic looking experience. So again, if you do want to dive into the game, it does come out in just a couple of days, I believe on January the 25th, 3 days from now, for $60 US. Now, the question is, what exactly are you going to be able to do in the game after you finish the original story? And it looks like Resident Evil 2 is going to be receiving some post-launch modes and costumes. Claire and Leon from 1998 are back again. Capcom Japan hosted a live stream event to commemorate the launch of Resident Evil 2 in the country. In addition to teasing other territories that can't yet play the remake, some new details were revealed about the post-launch content updates coming to the stunning remake. In addition to a few costumes, a brand new randomized mode called Ghost Survivors will be in tow. The Ghost Survivors sets itself up as a what-if side story that will see players take control of characters from Resident Evil 2. Using a mix of randomized elements and a point system for unlocking upgrades, the scenario is poised to be a new take, weird way to phrase that, on the classic extreme battle mode from the original release. Some of the characters teased include the mayor's daughter, Robert Kendo, and an unnamed USS member. There are even exclusive enemies not present in the story mode. As for cosmetic bonuses, the 1998 models for both Leon and Claire will be made available via specifically marked PSN cards in Japan. The costumes will then become free on March 22nd for everyone, but no confirmation of a Western date just yet. There does not seem to be any changes to the gameplay, but if you were dissatisfied with the reimagined take on the classic costumes as DLC, this will likely appease you. And you can check out the full live stream below, and it is just about an hour and 41 minutes, so there is a lot of content there. Now, for those that were curious as to what this actually looked like, what 1998 Leon Kennedy does resemble, this is it. Wow, how technology has increased in impressiveness over the past few years. With that being said, free post-launch mode and costumes, who can complain? As Duke of Spook says in the chat, free content, nice. That's my exact take on this entire thing. If this was something that was going to be charged for or a pre-order bonus, I'm out on that one. But considering this is just some pretty fun, free side content that is coming to the game, who can really complain about that? Now, when it comes to the West, still very much so up in the air. Who really knows? But hopefully soon, hopefully with, in the scope of that March 22nd release date. But I wouldn't hold my breath. This might be something that is exclusive to that part of the world. I doubt it, but you never know. So, temper your expectations, but keep them high because I have a feeling it's going to all shake out in the long run. With that being said, Nintendo has announced some Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournaments for North America and Europe. Them coming to North America, man, you better get your Kirby ready. Nintendo has announced 2 Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournaments, the North American Open 2019 and the European Smash Ball Team Cup 2019 as well. The North American Open will split up the United States, Canada, and Mexico into 4 regions for qualifiers: Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, or Southeast. These qualifying rounds and their subsequent final rounds will be held online, with the first beginning February 2nd at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. These online qualifiers will consist of 3 single elimination tournaments per region, and once all regional qualifiers are finished, 12 players will move on to the final event at PAX East in Boston on March the 30th. A very fast-moving tournament, surprisingly enough. Registration and specific dates for each region's qualifiers can be found through Battlefly if you were interested in that. And of course, there is the pretty impressive looking Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North America Open 2019 logo. The European Smash Ball Team Cup will see teams of 3 battle across stock matches, with only item activated being the Smash Ball. In a series of best-of-5 matches, teams will partake in 2v2 Smash, Smashdown, and 3v3 Squad Strike match types. National qualifiers will be held in the UK and Ireland, France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Russia, the Netherlands, Belgium, Austria, Switzerland, and the Nordic region consisting of Denmark, Finland, Norway, and Sweden. Winning squads from these 12 territories will advance to the final this spring, and more details on this will be available in the future. Along with the North America Open for Smash, there will also be a North America Inkling Open 2019 for Splatoon 2 players that will also hold its finals at PAX East 2019. And for more information on everything, you can find it on IGN if you are interested in that. Very cool to see an official tournament for not only Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but also for Splatoon 2. And hey, this is going to make somebody's literal year to be crowned the victor of Super Smash Bros. And also, in a smaller but still respectable way, Splatoon 2 at PAX East 2019. Something that's very cool, awesome to see. And whenever the company behind a game and even a gaming console gets invested in the esports / tournament side of their game, I can't help but be excited about that. I'm not a big fighting games guy. I have never played Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I take that back. I did play it for about 5 minutes at a family gathering, but I have watched a significant amount of it, and I'm very impressed with the game so far, and I have also watched a good bit of Splatoon 2, so hey, if you're into either of these games, then congratulations, you should start practicing, because you have the opportunity to make an impact on the world and on your life. Or you could just, enjoy playing some Smash with some other very respectable players. Now, if Smash Bros. Or Splatoon isn't really your thing, you might be more into indies, and congratulations, we have some more info about indies on the Nintendo Switch for 2019 coming tomorrow, which of course we'll talk about right here on tomorrow's episode of Caffeinate. But how exactly do you need to tune in? Nintendo will broadcast an indie game-focused Switch presentation tomorrow at 2 p.m. UK time. You will be able to watch the broadcast via any of Nintendo's official video channels, or they'll be embedding them over on the stream on Eurogamer if you ever need to leave their domain. You simply don't. Just go over to Eurogamer. I feel compelled to advertise them because I'm reading their article, but I digress. So what do they expect? Well, there is plenty of indie games on the horizon. Piku Niku is out this week. Ali Switch Stance is out soon, and the promising Slay the Spire is just around the corner. One of our most anticipated games is still lacking a Switch launch date, and that is Chucklefish's Wargroove. Hopefully they'll hear something about that there. As an indie-focused broadcast, however, just don't expect to hear much of any Nintendo-made games. 2019 is very busy for Switch, with Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing, Yoshi's Crafted World, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and a new Pokemon all announced for release before the end of the year, but just don't expect anything on those. This is primarily and entirely an indie-focused Nintendo Switch broadcast. With that being said, I have no expectations for this. I'm not deeply invested in the Switch community, but I like the idea of being able to see Slay the Spire on Nintendo's little handheld, because that game is a very cool card game. It's one of the few card games that I have played and have been at least mildly intrigued in. With that being said, the potential on the Nintendo Switch for any type of game, but specifically indie games, is basically limitless. It's kind of where the PlayStation Vita was a couple of years back, where you just have this incredibly valuable piece of hardware that is capable of so much, and developers have now been pretty much given the keys to the kingdom in being able to pump out whatever they want for the product. So that's obviously a pretty awesome thing to see. But if you did want to find more info about where the Nintendo Switch is going with indie games over the course of at least the first few months of 2019, then tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. UK time for a Nintendo broadcast that will unveil the future. Literally, you'll know what you're eating tomorrow for dinner. Just kidding. But for those that are more into the Halo side of things, the Xbox side of things, you might have been playing the Master Chief Collection. It recently got a big patch that essentially made the game way better than it was before. With that being said, there is now another tease coming that could even unveil more news at South by Southwest. 343 Industries is bringing Halo to South by Southwest in Texas in March for the Halo Championship Series Invitational. The tournament will be taking over the esports stage, and more than $100,000 will be on the line for players. Arguably, the more interesting tidbit from its tournament announcement, however, is the promise of some kind of announcement related to Halo the Master Chief Collection. Next to links detailing how to acquire tickets on the tournament on the blog post, 343 writes, quote, "Not only will you be treated to amazing matches and gameplay, but we've also got some exciting Halo the Master Chief Collection news to reveal during the show. The tease could be any number of things. Maybe Halo the Master Chief Collection will be making its way to PC, or maybe Halo Reach will be added to the collection. That all just gets bundled together, no pun intended, as free or paid content. And of course, the Master Chief Collection has been out for quite some time, but you can always read the review of it over there on Game Informer. In my opinion, what's going to happen here is a PC announcement, a release date for the PC version of Halo the Master Chief Collection, because that would literally be the biggest piece of Halo-related news that we have had since the announcement of Halo Infinite, which, again, has literally no gameplay tied to it and is nothing more than in-engine renders at this point. But the fact that classic Halo games could make their way to PC with the support of 343 behind the game itself and the port itself would change the game for where Halo is going in the future. Now, why do I think this is actually going to happen? Xbox and Microsoft have been working very hard to make Play Anywhere, the Xbox initiative where you can buy a game on Xbox and play it on PC, a reality and a viable option for those that do want to jump in and play games on PC and or Xbox. And so to be able to play that in a cross-play kind of way, and to be able to entice more people to jump back into classic Halo multiplayer and also Halo stories, is something that literally would be the best option for Halo in its current state. Because the game, it's doing all right. I still see a lot of people playing the tournaments and whatnot, and I watch Halo tournaments on the regular, but it's not as healthy as it was back whenever Halo was really at its peak with Halo 2 and Halo 3. However, could we just be seeing Halo Reach added as a free addition to the game? Perhaps. But hey, we will find out all of the information we need to know at South by Southwest in just a couple of weeks, coming in March, featured in Texas at the Halo Championship Series Invitational, which is always a good time. There's something about competitive Halo that I love. Not to go off on a tangent, but it's like, competitive PUBG's great, competitive Fortnite, my God, those people can build. When it comes to Halo, just the way that people know the maps, the way that people chunk nades, the way that the content flows is very impressive to me, and something that I cannot wait to watch whenever the show does come in March. Now, speaking of stuff that's coming out soon, Mortal Kombat 11 seems unlikely to have crossplay at launch, but NetherRealm are looking into the possibilities of bringing it post-launch. Multi-platform Armageddon. Many members of the Mortal Kombat community, they use it in a K format. It says community with a K. I appreciate that. Have been asking questions of the upcoming Mortal Kombat 11 concerning its features, mechanics, roster, and other such exciting tidbits. One question that is repeatedly raised is that of crossplay and whether players on different platforms will be able to pull each other's kidneys out. While there is no specific confirmation from NetherRealm on the subject, various developers have recently noted that crossplay is currently under consideration. Speaking to WCCF Tech game designer Derek Kurdzik? Sure, why not? Noted that although NetherRealm weren't ready to discuss details, the team embraced the idea of crossplay and are hoping to have it implemented in Mortal Kombat 11 in the future. What with Mortal Kombat 11 due to launch in a little over 2 months, it seems highly unlikely such a feature will be ready for day one. But that is not to say it might be added down the line. Mortal Kombat 11 is built on Unreal 4 tech, an engine almost custom designed for crossplay capabilities. With what Sony is finally loosening their grip on the exclusive multiplayer basis, maybe Mortal Kombat 11 could be the first major fighter to finally embrace throwdowns between players on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and even Switch, if NetherRealm can find a way to handshake the platform's alternate version of the game. And again, the game is coming out itself on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch on April the 23rd, although there are rumors pointing to a possible delay for the Nintendo Switch version of the game, which I never heard about, but apparently that's a thing according to Destructoid. With that being said, I would love to see crossplay become a reality for every game on the market right now, but primarily to have it for Mortal Kombat 11 seems to be a pretty good fit. But my question here is latency, because if you're playing online and you have a connection between, let's say, hypothetically best case scenario, the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox One version of the game, is there going to be any kind of delay? Is the person on console on the Xbox One going to be at an advantage when it comes to just simply, communicating with the server and making their button presses actually, move and whatnot and have an impact? Is that going to be a factor? Because if you have any kind of delay between the button presses on the controller and what happens on the screen and what happens on the server, that's going to be the defining factor on where people play multiplayer, and also, people getting frustrated with the Switch version of the game if, again, that does become a reality. There's a lot of technical back-end stuff that has to be considered when you're talking about crossplay, especially with a game, like I said, that is as competitive and is as, response-centric when it comes to the button presses from the player as something like Mortal Kombat. But as Duke says in the chat, crossplay rules, absolutely. With something like Fortnite, it has been enabling for people to not only play with their friends, but also for content creators to have stuff like Sub Sundays, where you literally jump in and you play Fortnite across PS4, Xbox One, Switch, mobile, whatever it is. You can play with your viewers and your viewers can play with you. It's a cool concept, and I love the fact that we are finally breaking down the barriers between Xbox and PlayStation, because we've never needed them to be there to begin with. It's always just been this giant kind of corporatized weird setting for the gaming culture. But hey, it's finally ending now. So if you did want to, again, dive into Mortal Kombat 11, there is a beta coming soon, and the game does launch on April the 23rd on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and the Switch as for right now, but apparently there could be a delay on the latter. I doubt it, though. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. However, speaking of realm, have you heard of Royale? Because it was pretty popular around last March, because it was in open beta, and it was essentially an alternative to Fortnite with a class-based system, a pretty cool little game at that. But with that being said, Royale goes into open beta on PS4 and Xbox One today, actually. The article is from yesterday. What can I say? Sometimes you miss some. Hi-Res Studios is opening up the Royale beta on consoles to everyone. Royale, Hi-Res Studios' battle royale shooter based on Paladin's world and heroes, first hit the scene last year, and after a successful PC launch, the game entered closed beta on PS4 and the Xbox One. Though player numbers, at least on PC, took a big hit in the following months, Hi-Res has renewed its commitment to the game and its player base in the brand new year. The first item on the agenda is the Royale Open Beta, which goes live tomorrow, again today, January 22nd, on PS4 and the Xbox One, and it is the first time the game will be available without the need of a special invite code. The studio is also planning more new content and updates for the game in 2019, with details to be revealed soon. And of course, there's also a reveal in an email that the Switch version of Smite will enter closed beta before the end of the month, with an open beta to follow shortly thereafter. So, if you did want to dive in and check out Realm Royale, again, open beta right now on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now, when it comes to the game, what can you expect? It does have a similarity in both appearance and gameplay to Fortnite, but primarily the biggest difference is in the way that the combat flows and the gameplay overall flows. There is a class-based system where essentially you choose perks and you choose loadouts before you dive into the game, and in general, it's just a specifically different style of Fortnite and a different style of BR. So I would encourage you to jump in because, number one, you can play a new kind of game, and number two, it's free. Do you really need any other kind of enticement? Because quite frankly, that's all I needed. I mean, I gave it a shot. It was pretty fun. Again, took a big hit following the giant burst of Realm Royale when it first came out, but hey, I suppose we're back now. With that being said, you might want to play Fallout 76, but guess what? That one's not going to be going free to play anytime soon because Bethesda has flat out denied that Fallout 76 is in fact going free to play. There is no truth to this rumor, they say. There has been a shaky rumor going around today, and again, that is today, the 22nd, that Fallout 76 is imminently preparing to transition to free-to-play. This seems to be predicted on some sort of retail development. EB Games in Australia is apparently pulling copies of Fallout 76 from store shelves. This has led to speculation that Fallout 76 will be turned into a free-to-play product in the very near future. Not so, says Bethesda. Responding to a message on Twitter, Bethesda firmly states there is no truth to this rumor. To be clear, Fallout 76 very much feels like a game that will eventually go free to play or require a subscription. Even though it didn't launch with the same monetization model as The Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76 seems like it could follow that trajectory. A game that transitions into something more service-based with regular updates. But a mere 2 months after launch, that is unquestionably too soon. Whoever started this rumor has an itchy nuke launching finger. And again, Fallout 76 has been a game that has had a very rocky past over the past few months since it has been out. For those that don't know, the game was, in my opinion, one of the most anticipated games of 2018 because it was literally the first big multiplayer push in the Fallout universe that wasn't mod-based. I believe there were a couple of multiplayer mods in the past, but primarily the biggest step forward is that you were actually getting a brand new full Fallout experience, but now with multiplayer in an MMO style way. But, of course, the game had rampant launch issues. There was a controversy going around about the collector's edition, like the big, most expensive version of the game, advertising a different style of canvas bag as opposed to the, it was a canvas bag advertised, and then people received a nylon bag. And you would have thought that the world was actually getting nuked. It was crazy, the response from that. We've talked about it before on many episodes of the podcast. But with that being said, and that being taken into account, we do have Fallout 76 beginning to recover, but not going free to play quite yet. I will say that I without a doubt believe that we are going to see this game go free to play maybe by the end of the year. I couldn't imagine this being a sustainable venture for Bethesda in the same way that it's set up right now, where people do have to pay anywhere between $30 and $60 to get access to the game. It could go to a subscription-based model like your Elder Scrolls Online, like your World of Warcraft. You could very well go that route. But as for right now, this is just, quite frankly, unreasonable to expect people to buy this game for $60. Still, it's made a lot of improvements, especially on PC. But as for right now, if you did want to dive in, Fallout 76 is out now on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. And it looks like you're not going to be getting it for free, so if you do want to jump in, you're pretty safe to do so. With that being said, that rounds out today's episode of Caffeinate. If you did enjoy today's show, be sure to drop me a like down below if you are watching on YouTube. If you're joining me live in the Twitch chat, I appreciate you as well. And if you did want to watch the show live, it's hosted live. Did I mention it's live? 5 days a week, Monday through Friday on twitch.tv/theSamuelAdams. It's then taken down. Correct pronunciation, correct words, and put up on podcast services around the world via anchor.fm/SamuelAdams if you did want to check out the audio version of the show, and links to Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, all of that are available over there. With that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the night. I will talk to you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Caffeinate, and peace.